prayer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mark, if you lead us in prayer, please.
Heavenly Father, we come before your throne of grace tonight, Lord, we thank you for your blessings. Father, we pray that you'll be with us in this meeting tonight. Pray that everything that's said and done will be according to your will, Father. Pray, Lord, when this meeting's over, everyone will go home safely, and thank you and praise your name. Amen.
Amen. Next up is roll call. Next up is roll call. President, Alderman Williams.
Present.
Alderman Bullard is present. Alderwoman Duncan is not here. Alderwoman Cisco.
Present.
City Administrator Burbridge. City Clerk Collard. City Attorney Weber.
Present.
Public Works Director Nash. Chief of Police Chase.
Present.
And Finance Director Stacy Houston.
Present.
And we have no other city staff present. Next up is the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion for the approval of the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda. I'll second that.
I will call for the vote. Alderman Bullard.
Yes.
Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Alderwoman Cisco.
Yes.
Next up is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion for the approval of the consent agenda?
I've moved to approve the consent agenda.
And I'll second.
I will call for the vote. Alderwoman Cisco.
Yes.
Alderman Bullard.
Yes.
And Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Next up is the hearing of persons, Miss Debbie Murphy. Come on up. You're allocated 5 minutes to speak, ma'am. Go on up.
Okay, is this on, or do we have to turn it? Because we sometimes can't hear.
It's on.
It's
It should be on.
Okay,
You may have to turn it down, maybe.
Yeah, it's on.
And it's on
Okay.
now.
gotcha. All right, good evening. I'm coming before you on a poll that was taken on September 12th. The poll itself lasted for 2 days. And the original question was, would you like to see a town hall meeting with all the aldermen and mayor for the public to ask questions? Because there's a lot of questions generated on social media, so on and so forth. There's nothing better than to come directly from you guys. So, out of that, we had a 10.5% total voting, which to us isn't very bad because there's only like 13% in the total election that voted. But the responses were yes, 46%, no, 2%, yes, I would attend, 34%, no, I would not attend, 2%, and yes, I would attend a fabled 16%. So my question is, does the board need to take steps, I'm not clear on this part of it, whether you need to discuss it here in an open meeting, put it on an agenda for the next time, or be able to answer yes or no? How does that work?
I would say that'd be up for the board for them to discuss before they would even put it on the agenda.
Well, how do you discuss it amongst the board if you're not supposed to discuss stuff in private? I understood, I don't know how that works.
Well, they think on their own, ma'am.
Huh?
They think on their own.
I know, but you're gonna discuss it before it gets put on the agenda?
Well, 2 aldermen can speak between one another.
Okay,
You can't have 3 because that would be a quorum.
okay,
Right.
there you go. So if 2 people speak amongst themselves and say, yeah, I guess it's worth putting on the agenda, then it would go to, the city clerk to put it on the agenda for a vote with the whole thing.
Yes.
Okay, and how long does that usually take to say yea or nay or get it on the agenda?
I don't know if there's a specific time frame or anything like that.
Well, would it be within like the next, I don't know,
I really can't say, I mean, I can't speak for them, I can't speak for the board themselves.
okay,
Okay,
well,
that would be up for them to decide.
okay, so I'll put that as, if I come before again, I could ask for old business to be revisited.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think as soon as we ask, if we ask for something to be on the agenda, the city will make, the appropriate steps to put it on there, so it'll be on the next agenda if 2 of us were to come forward and say, we would like this on the agenda.
Okay, thank you for that input.
And it has been discussion amongst us, periodically for a while since you brought it to our attention as to, you know, what would be the benefits? Would it turn into chaos? Would it be controlled? You know, would it become violent? So those are the things that we are all discussing individually and amongst ourselves as well, is, you know, how beneficial would it be to have town hall meetings or have an opportunity at our meetings to open it up to the public. So it's not something that we're sweeping in the rug and forgetting about. It's just a lot to take in and consider and, to make sure that it still stays formal.
Correct. So I just given you the percentage, so I'm assuming that you guys can discuss that along with it.
And I appreciate that.
Okay. On September 12th, I also spoke before the board. One of my questions was to get the week's notice off of there that the public has to be able to approach the board and speak. And I was able to pull up, in 2014, this was addressed with Mayor too. So it was never gone any further than that. So it's been 10 years. People back then even wanted to get on the agenda before a whole week's notice. So what, is that the same thing that I just discussed? You have to discuss it between two of you to get it on the agenda?
I don't know if we have actual requirements for agenda items, like, it doesn't have to be two of us. I think if I were to come up with something and ask, I think I could possibly get something on the agenda if I were to ask, but I think citizens can't really come up with agenda items. It's usually staff or council members, correct? I don't know if what the requirements are for agenda items.
Okay, so that's the whole
So,
point though,
yeah,
is
That's
that,
it.
And I just wanna cut in real quick before you cut the timer, Mayor. That's also something that we have recently discussed as well, is having the town hall, I keep calling it a town hall meeting, but an open session for members to come in, citizens to come in and discuss on a time limit. Is if, you know, do we necessarily need the hearing of persons anymore if we do open the floor up to the public for an allotted time of the meeting? And how to get that into the agenda to where, you know, what we're discussing this week, you have an opportunity to ask questions next week about the previous agenda.
totally following you.
And so that's something that we are discussing. We are listening to you, and we do appreciate you coming up with these ideas and concerns because, you know, we are here to speak on behalf of you and the other citizens of this town.
Okay,
So that runs into hand in hand with the opening the floor up to the meeting as well.
okay. Well, I get kind of sidetracked on being able to get to the city office on a Wednesday before the meetings when I don't know exactly what's gonna be posted even, so that's the concern.
Yeah, so we're trying to work that out and make it easier for you and other citizens to
And
be able
most
to
of
come
the
in.
cities around here already do open. So,
Yes.
Okay,
Debbie, before I have you sit down, how many people took this poll?
there was 400 total, followers that could access the poll, and there were a total of 42 votes, which comes to 10.5% of the possibility for voting.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Next up is new miscellaneous business, the loggers annual meeting. You like to present that?
This is just for our employee retirement fund. I'm currently working on a certification with loggers. And so normally the city clerk goes, I went the last 2 years. I would like to go this year as well, so I can continue that certification.
Okay.
I would move to approve, our city clerk to go to the Ligers Employer annual meeting to continue education.
Second.
I'd second.
Thank you, Tammy.
No, thank you. I'll call for the vote. Alderwoman Cisco.
Yes.
Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Alderman Bolerjack.
Yes.
Next up is the coal mix asphalt bid. Who would like to present that?
So the city requested a bid for 304 tons of cold mix asphalt, for patching holes and dig outs in the smooth level rough areas on the street. The only respondent we had was Lead Belts Materials. They came in at $78 per ton, which totals to be $23,700. And that would go under our street maintenance, and we've got a budget of $40,000 in that line.
I'll open that up for discussion.
I assume that, we've bought cold mix asphalt in the past?
Yeah, we usually buy from this.
Okay, so we have bought from this vendor before? So I ask, we only got one bid, I don't wanna delay it, but, you know, cause I know it's like cold weather's coming, it's gonna take time, but, I don't know what's a good price, personally.
I did look, we paid $80 per ton this time last year, so it came down a little bit.
Well, that's nice.
Right.
Okay.
And can you explain when we would use the cold mix asphalt? And that may be a dumb question, however,
We'll use that, when we put in new curb and guttering, and we've gotta tie the street to the new curb and guttering, we'll use it there. On our dig outs on our streets where we've had, main issues, where we've had to put shed in them, and there's different ones around town, there's quite a few. We use those to patch that also.
Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, I would move to approve the bid from Lead Belt Materials, for cold mix asphalt.
I'll second that.
I'll call for the vote. Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Alderman Boyd.
Yes.
Alderman Cisco.
yes,
Next up is request for utilities. Owen's property.
Alright, so this one and the next one, as you all are aware, we've been working back and forth between the utility committee and yourselves to come up with a policy for how do we address requests for city utilities outside city boundaries. So, pretty much until we have a clear policy, and someone authorized to make that determination, these will be coming to you all to make that determination. So this one, this is one of the first requests we've had. I kind of detail out the costs, what it would be for them, because we already have a line across their property, both a water and a sewer line, and I'll pull up the map here in the next. Okay, so,
Okay, so it's the one in blue, correct?
Yes, it's
I was
the
a little
one
bit
in blue.
confused, I was like, I know the purple ones are in city.
correct, purple is inside city limits. So this is Highway 72 running north and south on the screen, and, J Highway, roll road, that it intersects with there. So the one in blue, you'll see it's adjacent to city boundaries, but it's not a contiguous city boundary with the rest of the city. But we do have our water and sewer lines that run out to the hospital that run across the front of this property. So in this instance, per our codes, we do bring lines to within 5 foot inside a property, we're already there. So this is simply a request. These property owners, now Mark has had conversations with them, and we did kind of let them, hey, you know, one option is to annex in, and then the other option is that, you know, understand that utility rates right now for outside city limits for water and sewer are 26% higher than in city, so.
And they understand that, to connect to our existing lines, that the cost is on them, they understand that.
Right.
And so these guys are, if I understand correctly, they're looking not to annex into the city.
Correct.
I remember something about this line previously, we had a certain pump or something in there that,
There is a grinder pump
yeah, a grinder pump is,
actually on this property.
oh,
It's
okay.
ours, but it's specifically so that so this would be the first and only.
Yeah, person using it right now.
Right, on this new line that runs the hospital.
Yeah, 'cause I remember that.
And so, yeah, that grinder pump will help make sure that it's not the right pressure, because this is a high pressure sewer line.
Yeah.
That's what it's designed for, so. Do you have anything else to add, Mark?
What do you think?
I don't have any issues with them connecting to the water and sewer, you know, with understanding that they're responsible for all the costs associated with hooking it up to the main, and then, you know, like for the water and sewer, the rates are higher than being inside city limits.
Yeah, this will be served by Intercounty Electric.
Correct.
So we'll just talk about it.
Yeah, so it's only water and sewer.
Right.
Okay.
How far is the connection on that?
Huh?
How far are we running that line?
We
Or-
will,
No, it's,
Right,
it's,
well,
they would be less.
I'm just curious
But it's a
about-
high pressure.
I don't know what the distance is, do you?
Okay.
What the distance from the house to connect to the line is?
It's gonna be over 100 foot,
But that would be on someone, in this instance,
Yeah.
even if it were in city limits, they would be
Right,
responsible for that.
Right, right,
right here's where they're building their house,
Right.
that pump station is right here.
okay,
And there's a connection on that pump station for, or there's a fitting there for them to be able to hook onto.
okay,
So they'll run down to this pump station from their house down.
okay. I was just curious about how far the line was gonna go.
Yeah.
For that pumper line.
And water line runs right along the west side of the road,
Okay.
or the road going up through there.
Okay. That's all.
I mean, yeah, as long as they're, like Sean said, okay with realizing that the rates are more expensive for out-of-town, citizens, and they're, you know, they're responsible for the fees, I don't see a problem with, them coming on.
And I feel like in the future, part of that conversation needs to be also that, okay, if you don't annex in, you'll have higher utility rates. If you do annex it, yes, because most people immediately stop at, well, I don't wanna pay property taxes, city property taxes. But, I mean, I know you've done that math.
Adds
Now, on
$200
this,
a
with a
year.
house that's not even complete, it's hard to say what that number would be, but I mean, there's definitely a case there. And so, I mean, we can make sure that they know that, but then it's up to them, given our current
Yeah.
situation.
And I think making people aware of that in the beginning, then, you know, 6 years down the road saying, oh yeah, by the way, the rates are more expensive, it's an easier conversation to have if utility decides to raise rates in the future.
I'm just afraid, like, you know, I don't want this to become like a normal, if we have somebody inside, you know, where they're completely surrounded by city limits, then what?
Right.
You know, cool,
Right, yeah, and I think,
that's the thing I'm wondering about, if we need to add something to say like, okay, but within 3 years, or if they're completely surrounded by, or something like that, that's what I want to see,
yeah,
but
yeah, and,
right now, they're waiting on sewer lines, cause I know they're developing the property,
right.
so,
That's right.
this one, it's so far out there, and these two properties here are already not really contiguous. So, I would move to approve, the city providing utilities to this property in particular.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All right, I will call for the vote. Alderman Williams,
Yes.
Alderwoman Cisco,
Yes.
Alderman Boyd vote.
Yes.
Next up is request for utilities at 103 South Dilworth.
So this one is a little bit different situation, they're asking for water only. They are outside the city limits. So I have the cost details listed out there. This one, like I said, is a different situation. So this one's,
Okay.
There you go.
so the purple is city limits, that's inside city limits. Goes without shading, so it's the property in blue again that's requesting, just water, and mark the water line, is it in Dilworth? It's in the street,
Yes, yes, it is.
along that eastern property boundary basically, in the street. So we would need to bring it in 5 foot inside, that would be
Yeah.
our cost.
I personally think that, and this is just me speaking, but until we decide what we're doing with the 26% increase rate, we need to table this piece of property.
What do you mean until we decide what we're doing?
Or,
We haven't decided yet,
That's
right?
already a policy.
That's
It was
all- yeah, that's
pre-
policy.
Pre any of us.
Mhm.
Okay, I mean the increase.
That's for electric.
That's just electric.
They're
Okay,
not
they're
asking
just
for
wanting
electric.
water.
Right.
Okay.
But water and sewer
Already have the 26%
Gotcha.
increase.
Okay.
Right, that's.
Electric
They're not
does
wanting
not,
electric,
these guys
they're
are
just
only
wanting
wanting water.
Okay, never
But-
mind.
But I think-
Retract,
but-
erase.
But, I think the question is, with all the surrounding properties already being in city limits, do we ask them to voluntarily annex to the city? And that's what a lot of cities have policies on, where they offer.
And that was put before them, right?
Yeah,
That was
they
put
don't
before
want
them,
to.
but right now, we can only request or recommend.
Right.
This might be off topic, like, so, water in this area, we're not providing to this, but we are providing to others around, I'm assuming. Are we providing in this general vicinity, are we providing water, sewer, electric to most of those inside the city limits, or are we not? Or is it kind of like spotty there too?
It's fine.
Oh, cool.
Checkerboard.
Yeah, I know it's the
You're gonna be on
checkerboard
the one
area,
side-
my
You're gonna be on the one side, where it's
in-laws,
County,
okay.
and we have water, so that's okay. But,
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure, like, the area there, like, where Dilworth and Dale and all those other,
Mhm.
yeah, that area, where are we providing like water, sewer, electric to those guys, or?
Right, we've got a line that runs up through here.
Okay, so, yeah.
Matter of fact, it runs all the way out to the,
Yeah.
around.
Wonder if maybe we should, table this one for discussion, with our attorney on it, to see if there's any legal issues, if we were to ask.
I know
They'd be
most
willing
other
to-
cities require, annex within 3 years if cities providing utilities, or annex, there's a lot of different like variations of that, but they eventually have a policy to annex, and a necessary, I don't think there's anything I guess there's nothing in the Missouri State statute to enforce that,
I would agree with you, let's see what the attorney look over,
Unless you're going through the school on the left,
what we need to
that's,
do,
that piece.
what we can do.
Used to be light truck.
Should, yeah, so I'll go ahead and make that motion to table this request.
And I'll second.
how long,
I just wanna kinda see I don't know, we're still trying to work on this, and I'd hate to add another property, to a situation we're already trying to solve.
yeah, I know it's been brought up to utilities.
Right.
Once or twice, and I apologize to the utility committee, I know we had the meeting, and it wasn't exactly what they were thinking of the last time, that's, something I'll address, but, we still need to talk about that, I suppose. And we still need to, if you guys could like, get something about this, that, what your thoughts are on it, I'd like to know, and I'd like to pass that on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, hopefully, for my own concern, hopefully in future reference that we get all this cleaned up, it's just.
Be really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this has been going on for years, and now we continue to
run into issues.
run into issues.
And continuing is not a good option, in my opinion,
Right,
but if he's gonna pay the extra 26%, okay, that technically pays for what the water lines and the maintenance for it, so.
All right, any other discussion?
no,
All right, call for the vote, Alderman Boyd,
Yes.
Alderman Cisco,
yes,
Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Next up is resolution number 23-2023.
Sarcastic.
Resolution number 23-2023, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between the city of Salem, Missouri and the Dane County Animal Welfare Society to provide animal control services and when it will become effective.
Thank you. Time I'll open this up for discussion. Anybody?
Well, I know, the Salem News had something on this saying they weren't taking anything, but I'm guessing that's just because we, haven't passed this forward. Are they open to, talking, okay, if we're just gonna send this on, okay.
Attorney Weber, what's the difference between this new agreement versus the previous?
One of the previous issues with the agreement that was sent over wasn't referenced back when BCAS occupied the
Dog pound.
area of the old pound. And so the agreement that was sent over was outdated, and we need to update to reflect current circumstances.
New location, updated maximum amount of animals allowed at the facility. Okay.
I guess I have something for after this, I suppose, I don't know, like, cause 10 obviously doesn't cut it for the entirety of what we have. I mean, the last animal control we did, I think, that and a chicken, but, we had like 10 animals, including a chicken. But, but I've heard that we take in typically like 20 a month. You know, do we have a system in place for that afterwards, or we just after, cause I know if we keep taking in 10 additional,
Right.
you know, we don't have that room out there. So
So,
are we taking them to St.
again,
James?
as I mentioned in the staff summary, we've been fortunate so far for the past few months, because they started the maximum of 10 back in June.
Yeah,
And so we've
Oh,
been
internal
fortunate, yeah,
transportation.
and so we've been fortunate so far that we've not had those numbers. But when we looked at the previous year's numbers, it was double that on average.
yeah, That's what I was
Now,
worried
again,
about.
we have the Phelps County Animal Rescue that has agreed to take a minimum of 5 a month.
minimum or maximum?
I thought it was minimum, I would have to look again to see, but again, it's an agreement to take 5.
Okay,
5 for sure.
okay, 5, okay,
Yeah, 5 for sure with the possibility of others depending on their situation.
okay. Okay, well, we have something in place right now, I'm trying to get that place open and cleaned up, I know we have been working on
Yeah,
that, so.
and like I put in here, the roof is
Yeah, the roof
completed
is
and there's ongoing work on the building,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
we're making strides.
Yeah, I would move to approve the contract with E-Cost.
I'll second that.
I'll call for the vote. Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Alderman Boyd.
Yes.
Alderwoman Cisco.
Yes.
By any chance, is there a limit on chickens that we can still have to throw it out there?
It's one.
Next up, reading the bills. Bill number 3564. Wait. Should we just go ahead and go through it and table each one of them individually?
She might still need to read it, but
Yeah,
you
go
want to
ahead.
table that.
Okay.
Bill number 3564, an ordinance to rezone 1203 Bad Lane described in Exhibit A in the city of Salem, Missouri from commercial to manufacturing industrial owner, sellers investment properties.
Thank you.
It's kind of US site reasoning.
I won't be able to, make a vote on this tonight, I'll have to abstain from voting. This is because of my father-in-law is, working with sellers, to haul propane, so there's a relationship there, and just to avoid any kind of conflict or, with this bill, we would just rather wait until Alderwoman Duncan can attend a meeting to, be the other voting factor on this, bill.
So I'll move to table bill number 3564.
I'll second.
And I'll abstain.
Okay.
Still need to call for it.
Probably not.
Okay. Next up is bill number 3566.
Bill number 3566, an ordinance to rezone 1209 East Scenic Rivers Boulevard as described in Exhibit A in the city of Salem, Missouri from commercial to manufacturing industrial owners, sellers investment properties.
This is also the same reason, Seller Investments is, they're building a Chilton, their main office for Chilton Oil, so it'll be the same reason of why I have to abstain from voting from this bill as well.
With that, I'll move to table bill number 3566.
I will second.
Last but not least, bill number 3567.
Bill number 3567, an ordinance to rezone 1301 Bad Lane as described in Exhibit A in the city of Salem, Missouri from commercial to manufacturing industrial, owner David O. Grady Jr.
Also have to abstain from this one, just for being in relation to my husband and his family. It happens to be, one of his cousins, so I have to abstain from voting from this as well.
That I'll move the table bill number 3567.
I will second.
And I will apologize.
Next up is just the first reading for, bill number 3574.
Bill number 3574, an ordinance amending the city administrator's duty for the city of Salem, Missouri, whereas the city approved a new purchasing policy and corresponding codes in October 2022, and the city desires to amend the city administrator duties to reflect the same threshold amounts.
So Mayor, if I may,
Yes.
on this one, again, we posted tentative agenda. Tammy has, and they're on the table back there, there actually are some changes to the ordinance. The captions are the same as Tammy read, but instead of leaving the dollar amounts in this ordinance, instead I'm proposing that, we pull the dollar amounts out and reference chapter 135, purchasing in our codes and our current purchasing policy instead, and the ordinance at the back table reflects that change in language. The final outcome is the same, but that way we don't have this piece of code hanging out that's not directly related to if we update our purchasing codes.
Yeah, I agree.
This just references it, and then it'll reference whatever updates are made. So trying to clean up for future.
Any further discussion? Alright, next up is reports of city officials, boards, and committees. Administrator Burbridge, you were up
So,
first.
one quick update for you all this evening. The downtown project has, the right-of-ways have all been submitted, and approved by MoDOT, so yay for that. Along with that, MoDOT has given, approval for our engineer to move forward with putting together bid documentation for us. And we had a member of their staff for electrical engineering on site last week, going over with Mark the connections that are necessary, the ice melt sections that need replaced, and those types of things. So that is moving forward. This is not from the engineer or from MoDOT, but I've been asked a lot of questions about, well, when is this gonna happen? Well, if we think about it logically, the timeline that these things take, and this is if there are no delays, okay? If we get bid specs together, and this might be rushing it even, say by the end of this month, we put it out to bid, probably 4 weeks minimum, that puts us into November. It'll take us 2 readings, so that's the month of December, to approve a contract. So best case scenario, we won't have a contractor till January or end of December, which means in the middle of winter, construction won't start happening until the spring. So that's a best case scenario timeline.
And Sally, where can our citizens find the layout and designs of the downtown project? Just so if anybody has questions or would like to see the plan.
So they can go to our website, salemmo.com, and then click on the tab that says visit the city. Do you want to walk through it on the screen?
Please.
Okay, alright, just a second. So if you go to salemmo.com, then you'll see there's, on the left-hand side, if you're on a laptop or a desktop, you can find it on the left-hand side. You'll see the city of Salem up top, chamber in the middle. If you're on a phone, if you scroll all the way down to the teal green banner on the bottom, you'll see it lists City of Salem, Chamber of Commerce. Click on the words City of Salem. That'll take you to the city's website. Then if you click on government across the top in this blue banner up here, click on hold on. It's a little different with the touch screen here. So if you click on government, okay, straight down in the first column at the bottom is city projects. Okay, you scroll the page up, and you'll see it talks about this is our plans and projects page, and on the left-hand side over here, third one down is our downtown project. So you click there, again scroll, and if you click on the image of the light pole, that will bring up a larger image of the two different light pole styles that we'll be using. If you click on the image of the map on the right-hand side, that will bring you the full detailed plans for the project.
Thank you.
And I wanna say 3-4 pages in, it will show you the two blocks, well, right there.
There it is.
I already had pulled up there last time. So those are the two blocks that this project will cover. You can see the courthouse in the upper right portion of this.
Thank you.
Thank you for adding that to the city website, Salem.
I'm sorry?
Thank you for adding that.
Oh, absolutely, it's actually been up there for,
Well, yeah,
That's
but just thank you in
yeah.
general because.
Gotcha.
I just think it's becoming more of a hot topic,
Gotcha, understood.
because now it's approved, now everybody's getting excited. It's kinda like when you
Moving forward.
get approved to build a
Yeah,
home, you're just so
moving forward.
excited, what does the blueprints look like, when is it gonna be done? So I think this is just something, an easy way for people to be able to keep track of where the project's at.
now some of the things that the engineer will be developing as they prepare the bid documents will be cost estimates, so final cost estimates, because we've not had finals yet, and so, all of that will be forthcoming. That's what I've
That's
got
it.
for tonight.
Alright. Next up is my report, let's see. The Dent County Health Center will be holding a drive-through vaccine clinic in flu and COVID-19 from 1 to 6 p.m. at the Dent County Fire Station on October the 12th. The only other thing that I have is Healthy Dent County will be hosting a Witches Walk on October 28th at 9 a.m. This will start at the Tiger Trail on Doss Road. Registration is now open and the cost is $20 per person. For any information, please call 573-729-8163. And I'd like to thank all of our local business owners for participating in the year-round scarecrow that we've got placed outside of their businesses. If you've not been around, yeah, it's pretty neat to get the community involved. I have citywide cleanup going on for at least 3 more days. So after that, starting next week, I will be on vacation, so if anybody has any questions, they can feel free to contact the admin building to get the GFL's number. If we had anybody that didn't send anything out that were, late bloomers, so we'll make sure we get all that picked up. Other than that, that's the only thing that I have for tonight. Next up, Mr. Nash.
We have a few projects that we're gonna be starting on pretty quick. As you can see up there with McDonald's, they're getting really close for us to pull that wire in, start setting the transformer, getting all that ready for them. We're gonna start digging before long over at the school for the trades building. They're gonna go all underground. They'll come around, just around the parking lot there by the bus barn. Come up through there, but it'll be all underground. It'll look a lot nicer and work a lot better for them. We got a lot of the material in for the Al Brown field. So I talked to the contractor on that last week, and he'll probably start digging next week or two. There's a lot, we haven't got the main in, but there's a lot of work to be done before he could put the main up anyway. So he's gonna go ahead and get started. We'll start getting that wire in the ditch, getting it all covered back up. On the fall waste, when we get ready to pick that up, we're gonna pick that up the week after, like, you've got a designated week to get it out. We're gonna start picking that up the week after, trying to give people time to get that out, so that we're not backing up and, backtracking. We've done that in the past, and it worked a lot better last year the way we done it, so we're gonna continue to do it that way to keep from backtracking. Thank you for the asphalt. We'll start getting some of those taken care of, and, that's about all I got.
Question for you, Mark.
Yep.
I know you're not shocked. It's not what you think, but if you do have an update on that, I'll take it.
I had to pull them off. They are trying to get the, animal shelter done.
Okay.
So, and as soon as they get that done, then we'll go right back to the curb and guttering and stuff,
Perfect.
so we needed to get.
I ran
that
into her
done.
at Walmart and she asked me and I was like, I promise you I'm mentioning it.
Okay.
But, you know,
That's okay.
2 years. Also, you mentioned McDonald's construction work. Unfortunately, working out of town recently, I've not been able to make it into town before they're completed with their work, but 3 of the citizens on that road are complaining that it's impossible to get in and out of their driveway while they're working there. They're saying not all the vehicles need to be parked there. Can somebody take a look at that for me? I'm trying to make it in town before they're all gone to see if they are actually blocking driveways. I'm not able to
They're
make it there in
parked on the
time.
other side of the road,
Okay.
but it does make it kinda narrow, you know, right there, but they don't have anywhere else to park.
When I drove through this morning, one of their trailers was in the middle of the road and it was parked without anything there. Can somebody just
In the
drive
middle of
by?
the road.
I had to be really close to mailbox to get through. My nephew was complaining about my driving. I was actually driving good.
It's on South Water.
Yeah, on South Water Street. So if somebody, even you, chief, have somebody drive
I'll
by
drive
just
by
early in
there,
the
I'll
morning.
start driving by there in the mornings.
Thank you, cause I've received several phone calls this week just about that.
Anybody else? All right, thank you, Mr. Manager.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Melissa's not here tonight.
Paper sounds good.
Yeah.
Reps.
I already have a computer, so then
Oh, all right, Alderwoman Cisco. No, wrong head.
Fine, I'll go first. Mark, I forgot to ask, I had somebody asking about the weed eating of the cemetery. Are we doing that anytime soon?
yes, we've had to, when we do the weed eating and do everything, I have to pull everybody off of other departments.
Okay,
We're trying to get caught up with our other departments, when they get caught up, and they're gonna go back over there and get that finished up.
awesome, thank you. You stole my witch's walk, so Healthy County's having a casino night, November 4th, I believe. So that's it, this is gonna be my first year attending, I'm pretty excited about that. Be shocked, I know. I wanna thank, Officer Robbins, he may be sergeant, actually, sorry. He is putting together again the trunk or treat, I think that's an awesome idea, it was a big hit last year. I'm very excited to see how many kids participate into that. This year, it's a lot of fun. We had a Parks and Rec meeting last week. Mr. Handbacker and Mr. Anderson arrived and shared their plans as they did at our last Alderman meeting about the history trail. I'm super excited for that to take off. They are going to meet with Melissa. They may have already met with Melissa. She's had a couple of things happen with one of her children, and so she's trying to get him better, but they're going to meet and go over kind of mapping of the trail to see where park benches can go, where signs can go, to make it all come together very nicely. We also discussed about a new park policy. They're gonna get with the city attorney and go over that. Try to make hours on the park to where you cannot enter or be on the premises without, you know, any kind of permission between certain hours. I think that's gonna be very great. It's gonna help eliminate on vandalism, also with, you know, people trying to sleep in the bathroom or on the playground equipment. And it's also going to give our police department an advantage to be able to give disciplinary actions if need be, if somebody continues to go on to the city property after hours. So I'm excited to see those hours come before us and be voted on, and then to get with the city attorney. But other than that, that is all I have to report on.
All right. Thank you.
You're
Sure
welcome.
that's it?
Well, when you get to talking, I might remember something else, but I'll let you know.
All right, Alderman Lloyd, I have no report tonight. All right, another tardy slip.
I took that for you.
Alderman Williams.
It's utility committee meeting time again, this Wednesday, 6:15.
Why are you saying the haunted voice?
I have no idea. But yeah, it's, so we'll be doing that, going over, some of the things that we're working on. So you can find that, you can find the agendas online. Also, I will be attending the Board of Adjustments meeting. I need to correct something. I did mention on, social media that I was a part of that committee, or that board. I am not. I am not a voting member of that board. But I will be attending anyways, so I wanted to correct that.
So
It is open to the it is open to the public. That'll be on Thursday at 6. Sounds like we might have quite the crowd, so.
Have they planned for that? Where is it normally at?
I have no
Here.
idea. I'm not
Oh,
on
okay.
it, apparently. So, anyways, beyond that, I have nothing else to report.
Alright. Well, that wraps up this meeting, and next thing I got is closed session for, I don't know, shorten it up, litigation and contracts.
I would move to go into closed session for litigation and contracts.
I second.
I will call for the vote, Alderwoman Cisco,
Yes.
Alderman Williams,
Yes.
Alderman Boyd.
Yes.
Thank you all for attending tonight.
She set it up, meeting, she said.